Hi there, it's Wade McMaster here, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Mark's Daily Apple website design. I've done a lot of smaller websites lately, but Mark's Daily Apple has actually been around for a very long time. I remember actually reading his book and reading his website a good 10 years ago when I first started exploring paleo, and I thought it'd be good to come back because I haven't been here for a while and check out his site, and it's actually undergone a pretty big redesign. And you can see here it's a lot more modern. If you've ever seen the old version, it's a lot more modern than it used to be. But let's just get straight into it and just sort of explore and see where it takes us. I'll try not to get on it for too long, but just this will be a little bit less structured, this review, and we'll just sort of check some things out as we go. Now, straight away, I've scrolled up and down, and now we've popped up with this. So I will start with this, considering just by luck it's happened to pop up. Now, normally it wouldn't pop up unless you scroll down, but I've gone up and down while talking, so it sort of triggered this pop-up. Straight away, as I always say, getting an email list is a great way to reach people, and basically, it's a great marketing tool, and you can more easily sell with an email list than social media or just with people landing fresh on your website, because you get the chance to consistently talk to them, build up awareness, and build up trust because you're constantly offering a lot of good information. They become familiar with you, and they're then more likely to make a purchase or take some kind of action you want them to. So this little pop-up I think is good. Obviously we've got a picture of Mark here again. Considering he has his shirt off here, it's probably good. And I'll actually talk about that in a second in terms of marketing, but the fact that he has his shirt on is probably kind of a good thing in this because it shows he's a bit more professional. Do you want to receive emails about keto or recipes? So he's not necessarily pushing a lead magnet here, although I think it would be wise for him to. Some kind of free ebook getting started would be wise to get more people on his list, but he may not necessarily need it. He may be doing quite well without that. But an email sign up, definitely a powerful thing. So let's start from the top and sort of work our way down, and we'll dart around. The fact that the logo's here, quite powerful, social media and the shop. It's a bit of a busy header, but his website is it's really quite a full-on website. It's quite large, so he really needs to break down into these categories. I'm not a huge fan of mega menus because sometimes I find they're a bit difficult to use. This one seems to be working out all right. Straight away here, get your free ebook. That's pretty cool. So we've got articles, keto, so getting a free ebook for keto. So there you go, signing up to the email newsletter and getting a free ebook. Recipes, fitness. So he's pushed it in a very specific place. Meet Mark, so a little bit about him. And he does sell some things. So having that shop there is handy, but it actually doesn't compete as much as the logo and this section here with the search. Now I wanted to mention something about Mark he does on his website quite well. Now I'm not someone who necessarily likes seeing people getting rid of their shirts off regardless of how fit they are, but it does work. On a fitness website you need that proof that you know what you're talking about. So it's one thing is, now I wouldn't say it's easy for a young person to be shredded and be in great shape. It's incredibly difficult and requires a lot of knowledge and a lot of hard work. But when you've got someone like Mark who's, I think, almost 60 or more, in this kind of shape, it tells a story about the effectiveness of what he teaches, because he shows that he practices what he preaches, and the message is quite clear that, hey, well, look, we're here. It's about being healthy, in shape, and vibrant, regardless of your age. And then, of course, subscribers. So you go, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. I wouldn't mind subscribing. And if not, you get down into the content. So latest blog articles. So obviously he's running a blog, so you want to push your latest articles because people might be coming there to see if he's published something new. I know he used to publish daily. I don't know if he still is. Popular posts. So the latest, that's what people come here more than likely. If you're relatively new, seeing his most popular posts. So obviously these are proven, they work. So pushing those is quite a good idea. And now he's going into, I guess, more of the specifics. So, talking about keto, and keto here with Mark Sisson. So, obviously joining Keto Month. I don't know what exactly that is. Primal Kitchen. We'll check that out maybe later. Keto being one of the main players at the moment in the dieting industry, he's obviously pushed this a fair bit first, and then obviously he's got a lot of posts surrounding keto as well. So he's gone from his latest post, which is the obvious one, popular, because that works, down to keto because that's the current trend. So he's pushing the content people are looking for very easily, very much first. 2 videos on fitness, something either he feels he needs to push or something that people are looking for. So correct running technique, actually something I might watch later, considering sort of trying to run a bit more. Dear Mark, so people actually, now these are actually really good posts. I've read these in the past where people ask questions and he goes ahead and answers them. He's like an encyclopedia, this guy, so these are awesome posts to go through and read. Diet and nutrition, it's a very big homepage, but because there's so much content, it's probably not a bad thing, simply because you get a chance to really spend time on this site. When you've got a big site, that's a good thing, because a lot of his content is substantial. It's not just a bunch of spread thin sort of videos and blog posts and that. There's so much to explore that people can get lost in it. And then all of a sudden you get hit up with hey, here's a free ebook if you want it. So at the top, he's got his email, subscribe, and then down the page, your free ebook, which you would actually sign up for via email. Recipes, a few more videos about getting sleep, intermittent fasting, fitness. So it really categorizes everything. And down the bottom, you've got Meet Mark. So that's pretty handy. You can also subscribe in the footer there. So it really becomes a gateway through to the rest of your site. He's pushing a ton of content, but categorizing it. So that way you can go, okay, this is the sort of thing I'm after, and then you get hit with a few options. And then, of course, throughout, little call to actions like the free ebook and the email list. So I'm actually going to go across here. I'm actually going to go to Meet Mark. Now, once again, that's another trust building page, because people usually look for about pages, or they want to know more about this person. Now, it might not say about or start here or something like that, but we're here on Mark's Daily Apple and Meet Mark. So there's a connection there with the name that shows this is where you want to go to meet the guy behind the site. And he's got all his resources listed here on this sidebar, again, with the email list. So he's really pushing a content-first approach, hoping you'll sign up afterwards, which is definitely an effective way to go. And here he talks about what they do at Mark's Daily Apple, and spreading awareness, talking about basically what it has to offer. A shot of the original website. I think, to be honest, at first glance, I don't really feel like reading this. I think a few dot points somewhere would be handy, saying, this is what you can expect at Mark's Daily Apple, what Mark can offer you, and then a few dot points would be a really good change of pace. Because as someone doing a review, I like to think of the laziest person possible. And at the moment, that's me, because I'm looking at it through the laziest lens I can. And I'll be honest, a lot of this I don't really want to read. But there is a lot of information there. And visually, you can see that Mark's in great shape himself. You've got real life stories. You can see here he's quite fit. Obviously, it's about fitness. But you can see here, past age 60. That's LGN. See, look good naked. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. So you get an idea. It's about being fit and looking good naked, but there's so much information here. I feel like it could be a few major subheaders would break it up a bit more and make it easier to read. But overall, he's got such great content and such a huge following that it probably doesn't need to worry about this too much. But I do feel even a few dot points at the top would summarize things very quickly, so that leading you into wanting to read more, saying this is what we offer. Mark is an ex-athlete who, after so many years of inflammation, discovered this way of living. But, if you want the information, it's there. The sheer amount of information and photos, especially the real-life stories. Real-life stories is a great trust factor. Obviously, him pushing. So it's not necessarily a bad about page, but I feel like it could hit the nail on the head a bit quicker by doing a few of those things. Results. Now, this is where I'm sort of drawn to next, is these three here. Results. Tell your story. So, if you've had some good results, submit your story. So, this is, once again, another great trust builder. Look at all the categories. So, he hasn't just got results, he's got results upon results. I actually didn't realize. So, there you go. You've got a few different here. This is linking off to blog posts by the looks of it. But if you're looking for results, man, there's a lot to go through there. So it'd be good to have 3 main results, just summarized. Like, I was able to cure my autoimmune disease. I was able to get below 10% body fat. Like, having 3 main ones there, then leading into all the different ones. Because it's a bit cold turkey to be like, bang, here's a whole bunch of different things to choose from. if you have a few main ones, you can absorb them nice and quick and decide whether you want to keep going. So I feel like it sort of would graduate a bit better if they had one or two there blending in. Once again, it still works really well. You can see here the fact that there's so many itself, like, it just shows how many people he's actually helped over his career of Mark's Daily Apple. Goals. So, so some tips on, reaching your goals. This is another category. Once again, I will admit, once again, the choppy changey style of the content can be a little bit confusing, and then you got the ad here. I just feel like either list or have 2 columns going down, have a clear section, 2 columns. I feel like that would be easier on the eye, especially considering which I'm only just realizing there are actually subcategories here. So even like a very faint border around these, and then the ad and another faint border, because this, at first glance, I thought it was just a bunch of stuff. It took me a while to realize these are actually broken up. So I think there's a lot that can be done on this page to make it perform a bit better. I don't think it's going to be, once again, not a huge deal, but I do think it'll work better if that was to do that. So fitness. I like the way, if you're going to use a mega menu, it's like, I want to learn about planks, push-ups, pull-ups, sprinting. He's covering a lot of bases here, so you can get straight to where you want to go. You don't have to click from one page to another page to another page, and a few main articles. So that's actually pretty cool. What happens if I click on fitness itself? Does anything happen? There we go. So we get fitness posts. I think we've got... See, this is not as bad as the other one. Here's how it works. This here is the same as before. We've got our ad, and this is a little bit fallen, but then we've got the 4 primal essential moves with an image. That image takes up so much space that it actually kind of stops the eye. You go down a bit more, a few more sprinting. Once again, the image stops the eye. So I think that a lot can be done to improve the layout of this, I think. Because obviously with the amount of traffic it gets, if you streamline it even further, a 1% change could be thousands of people. So I think this is good. The recipes, keto. Obviously if we go here, we can get his free ebook. So let's see what that takes us to. So we've got information on the right, photo on the left, where you can sign up to get it. So this is good because it kind of like stops and then you go, I guess I'll look over here now. Keep reading. Once again, sign up. So it's pretty good. There's a lot of information there. He's definitely catering to people who like to read a lot. So it could also be that his audience is more the heavy reader types. Being an author of the Primal Blueprint, it's a book I actually bought myself. Love that book. He's taken that approach, I guess. But yeah. That's not too bad. There's a lot of information, but the fact that you have the email sign up before and after is very smart. Primal lifestyle. So let's go to a post. All right, so we've got a post here. We've got our header image. This is good because although I like content to be a bit higher, because you got such a white background, this could all get lost together. So this really separates the navigation from the content, which is a smart move. And then of course, your share buttons here. I like the no sidebar approach. It's not something I personally use, but I think it's a fantastic way to go because it just focuses on the content. And if you're someone looking to read this content, you see all of these bits and pieces up here, which can have your eye darting around. You guys just want to get to the content. Oh, all of a sudden it relaxes. You got just the text. Nothing trying to grab your attention. It's just nice and easy. And I think this is a very smart move considering just how many bits and pieces are kind of thrown at you when you first land on the site. Sign up for more. Very cool. One thing I will say too, I like the color theme and the branding is very strong. The green, the orange, the white is it's a very powerful brand, and it's very wordy, but at the same time he uses color to break it up as well. Green across one row, black across the next, an image. That makes it somewhat easier to break apart visually as well. Despite the fact there are still some bits and pieces, it's not quite as, not like there's one piece, another piece, another piece, another piece. Your eye does tend to go, this is one thing, this is another thing. So it's kind of like somewhere between those two areas of bits and pieces and one row, another row. That, yeah. I personally would just to avoid confusion, I would make this top part even just a slightly darker grey. I know the white works pretty well for a lot of places, but I feel like if this was even green with white on it, it would just have that separation and be a clearly, distinctly different area of the page and be less confusing. It's not overly confusing, but from a really lazy eye point of view, it can be a bit confusing. But yeah, there's a lot here. It's easy for me to point and say, oh, this is bad and this is good, because there's just so much to sort. But I definitely feel like there are some improvements that could be more easily done. So let's go to shop for products very quickly, and let's go to supplements. Lots of drop downs. I'm not a fan of lots of drop downs. So yeah, we're on a different website now, so probably not such a huge deal. But see, this is actually a very clean website. Even this grey line here, which separates the header from here, is actually really powerful. So if I go to the main page, Live Awesome, Shop Now, a different color for the subscribe. This is much easier to follow because everything's consistent. And then they've got that slight grey color, which I think would be good on the other website. Everything is much easier to follow on this page than the other. So I do feel like a lot could be learnt from this website to apply to the Mark's Daily Apple site. Overall, one thing to remember is if I go, I don't know if there's another tab. Yeah. If I do go, so let's go to read more recent articles. So this is the blog. One thing to remember is a lot of his traffic aren't landing at the homepage first. I think a lot of it are probably a lot of people are discovering it through search engines and landing on this here. So they're getting a visual and then getting the content. So I think it works well considering they probably land on a blog post and then want to sort of explore further. The footer is nice and easy to follow, although Meet Mark, I think, should be down here. Is it? It's not, no. I do feel like it could be a few more trust factors could be thrown into the footer, but you're talking about, we're under the comments, so people probably don't even get that low. It's probably like an absolute minuscule amount. Advertises this shop throughout. But if you want to go up here, oh sweet, there's information on these things. So if you look at it from the perspective of landing on a blog post, the blog post is not as confusing as the homepage, at least, and you don't even necessarily go to the homepage. There's no, unless you click on the logo, nothing really takes you there. And you can see, apart from this home button here. But this top section of the homepage is done really well. The white, the photo, the green, I think it does separate things very effectively. I just think a lot of these sub pages could use a similar approach. Now, you don't want it to appear the same as the homepage, because then if I go to recipes, it could end up being confused. Well, actually, the recipes page looks pretty good. This here, the visual, and this here, it does separate it. So you get your nav, you get one block which is distinctly different from the main content, and this is actually very clean. So if you actually laid out the other pages like the recipe page, you probably find there's a lot. So if I go back into fitness for a minute, we'll wrap this up shortly because there's not too much more to look at. This is a bit haphazard and probably requires a bit more work to look something a bit more like the recipes page. The keto page, I imagine, the keto hub, so learn more about healthy keto eating. This is a little bit more haphazard again, a little bit more confusing. Everything's different widths and different column widths, and you don't really know where to look. And the sidebar actually is just confusing considering we've got different columns throughout. So if everything looked more like the recipes page and you had an image breaking it up like the recipes page, even if you just had one image here just like the blog post, something that just distinctly says, hey, this is one area and this is another area, that would help separate this sort of like whole bunch of stuff apart from each other. I'd remove this, make it an image, break it up that way. So that's my thoughts. Overall, I like the clean look, but I think by not sectioning things, it can be a little confusing. But I mean, it works. Mark's content, this is why they say content is king. His content is amazing, which is why he has, I think, millions of visitors on this site quite regularly, why he's the man he is. He's one of the leading personalities in paleo and primal health and fitness. So The homepage does a great job, and I think as long as you've got a little bit of time to stop and think, you'll actually go through. And if you're reading the type of content he pushes, you want to be a bit of a thinker anyway. So all these critiques are little minor things considering that the content is very useful and people love Mark's content. So that's pretty much my thoughts on Mark's Daily Apple. Well, let me know if you agree or disagree. Leave some comments below. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please give it a like. Consider subscribing to see more. And of course, if you have any websites you would like me to review, leave a comment and I'll look at it and we may do a video on it. Otherwise, yeah, enjoy the rest of your day and I hope to see you again soon.